Combat Society. UFC Melbourne is inching closer and closer. We're so glad to have UFC coming back to our hometown. My name is Madison and this is Tyrone. How do you feel about UFC coming back?
It's truly amazing that we get so many great cards coming to Australia as of recently. And especially it's in Melbourne, that's our hometown. We've got Israel Adesanya and Anderson Silva, Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum title fight. It's going to be fireworks, two great fights. The rest of the cards solid as well. And I can't wait, it's going to be fireworks.
Yeah, and we're going to give our predictions right after we talk about UFC Fortaleza, which was this past weekend. The Brazilians always put on impressive performances, and there were 4 performance of the nights shelled out by the UFC. First, we're going to discuss the main event, which was Rafael Assunção versus Marlon Moraes. The two Brazilians went at it, and what a show it was. What a finish it was when we didn't expect that one.
Yeah, Marlon Moraes comes out with the win. It was a great win. Submission victory after landing some big shots, and two guys who were definitely in title contention. And Marlon Moraes has obviously come out as the clear number 1 contender, I would say, in that division. Two Brazilians, that you don't really see that. And especially even the co-main event was 2 Brazilians. But it was a great fight, and I can't wait to see. Well, TJ Dillashaw is tied up, so we don't know what's going to happen in terms of a title shot. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, we're going to see how it plays out, because now we've got Henry Cejudo, who wants to go up, and deservedly, because he's just beat the bantamweight champion, and he's saying he's done all these incredible things in his career. He should get the right to go up.
I think so, yeah.
Should he get the next shot, though?
I believe he should. He's just beaten TJ Dillashaw. Dillashaw's not going to take a fight against any of these guys, to be honest with you, even though they rightly should get the fight. But TJ's not going to take a fight against Marlon Moraes. I can tell you that right now. Henry Cejudo does deserve the right to go up. He, like all other champions, that should be the right given to you. And that will be the next fight in that bantamweight division. The next title fight will be Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw. These other guys will have to go back to the backbench and just wait a bit.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. It's just that Marlon Moraes put on so many outstanding fights now. He hasn't versed anyone outside the top 10, and to see him get snubbed, it's another one of those moments where the number 1 contender is not getting that shot, but he could get it. You never know. If Henry Cejudo wants to fight in his own division, then Marlon Moraes will surely get that. But congratulations to Marlon. Incredible fight, incredible submission. The co-main event was a featherweight matchup, and that was Jose Aldo going back to his hometown versus Renato Moicano. And we thought maybe the young stud would upset Jose Aldo, who's kind of towards the end of his career. But Jose came ready.
The thing is, you say end of his career because he's been in it since he was so young, but he's actually only 32 or 33 years old, which would be his physical prime. If you look at all other fighters that are that age. Now, he put on a great performance, and really was able to land the nice strikes on Renato, and went to and then once he got him hurt, went to the body, and the body shots are what really cemented it. The same kind of body shot we saw when he versed Jeremy Stephens, that same body shot, and he was really looking for that shot, and once he got him hurt, straight to the body, and that allowed him to finish the fight. As I know you were pretty high on Renato Moicano, but as I said, Jose Aldo is very young still in terms of other fighters. I think this is a second win in his career after being defeated by Conor McGregor and then Max Holloway after that. And he's been people thought he was on a decline, but as of his last 2 performances, I think he's on an incline, and I think he could fight for a title again. Maybe not Max Holloway. If Max Holloway somehow loses, I reckon he could come back and fight the new champion. But if Max Holloway doesn't lose, I don't think they'll make a third fight. But things are looking up for Jose, but still things are looking up for Renato as well, because he's still a young prospect with tremendous talent, and they'll keep going with their careers. Yeah,
Jose Aldo, he has a lot of fights now that he can do. Brian Ortega, when he comes back, Zabit versus Jeremy Stephens is going to happen on UFC 235. So there's a lot of ups for him. If he gets through those, I can see another title shot, and that was a great performance against the guy who's gunning for him. We also had, before that, we had Damian Maia, fan favorite in Brazil, against Lyman Good. We haven't heard much about Lyman Good. He has knockout power, but Damian Maia was confident that he was going to come in and just implement his game plan, get it to the ground, submit him, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
He can still wipe out majority of the division with his jiu-jitsu. It's still very good.
Of course, it's world class jiu-jitsu. The fight played out exactly the way Damian Maia wanted it to, and the way most of his fights do, which is back you up and take you down, choke you out quickly. And once he got on the back, it was over very quickly. I think the fight lasted half a round, and that's the kind of threat that Damian Maia is. He can choke you out, and if you're wrestling, if you haven't got takedown defense, you're going to get taken down. And once you're on the ground, it's over.
Because he is relentless with those takedowns. Like,
absolutely.
Even though, let's say, when he fought Tyron Woodley and he didn't land 25 takedowns, but to keep going 25 times and get stuffed every time, that takes heart. And if you're not at that level, you will get taken down at least one time by him. Yeah. And that's all he needs.
And the guys he's lost to, really, in the top of the division in the welterweights are guys who have really good takedown defense and know how to neutralize the game plan. But in terms of everybody else in the division, they haven't felt that kind of pressure before, and the threat of getting taken down is like it's like nothing else, because these fighters know if they get taken down, they're gone, and that's the kind of fear he instills in the fighters.
Yeah, and that threat is always there.
Absolutely.
And the other two, so I told you there were four. There were 4 performance of the night bonuses. So we had Marlon, Jose, and Charles Oliveira and Johnny Walker. So let's speak about Charles Oliveira. Most submissions in UFC history. Submitted David Tamer with an anaconda choke. He was knocked down in the first round and came back and choked him out.
Yeah, he's got heart, man. The guy has heart, and he hurt his opponent, but then still went to the ground and tried to get a submission, because I believe he's obviously he has the most submissions in the UFC, and he wants to keep adding to it, and that's what he does. And he's a veteran, he's got heart, and he's a great fighter.
Yeah, definitely. I think will go down in the history books as one of the best submission artists of all time in history, because he has the most. And it's actually quite funny that even when he's in a position where he could just easily finish the person, he just go, let's lock in the anaconda. It's just like...
Well, as I said, he's obviously chasing records, and good on him.
Yeah, and Johnny Walker before that was a little bit controversial. Johnny Walker's I feel like he has that attitude and that funny style, and he can really be loved, and he can grow his image, because he just beat Justin Ledet, and basically he did a back fist, dropped him, and then went for like a punt kick to the head while he was grounded. So if he would have landed that, Johnny Walker would have been DQ'd. But he just missed it by this much, and ground and pound and finish, and then proceeded to do the worm celebration and all types of crazy shenanigans.
You have to also think about what's going on in the mind of a fighter that would just go for... You have the fight won, and then you're going for potentially fight-ending techniques like kicking somebody in the head when they're down. Obviously, there's the amount of adrenaline going through his brain, through his body at that moment, knowing he's about to finish the fight, was just too much. And
yeah, they don't even think.
They just go on autopilot mode, and then they might throw a technique that is illegal, because if that would have landed, as you said, that would have been game over for Johnny Walker, and it would have been disqualified. Lucky for him, it didn't land, and he finished the fight shortly after. But you have to think, same thing with that NFL player. What's his?
Who are we thinking of?
Forgot his name. Greg Hardy.
Yeah, we both forgot his name at the same time.
Greg Hardy. Same sort of deal. The illegal knee. These fighters don't have bad intentions. I truly believe that the adrenaline takes over, and they're not thinking, and they're just trying to. They're obviously full of adrenaline and anger and excitement, that they just want to just hurt the person and put them out. And they don't think that that's actually illegal.
He's a pretty relaxed guy though, and he got the win. So he's got a lot of potential in this light heavyweight division, because there isn't many personalities in that division. So hope he can make bigger name for himself and fight some of the contenders coming up, like Dominic Reyes and stuff like that.
Yeah, because he better have a good time in the lower end of this division, because when you get to the top, you get those dangerous guys. I'm talking about John Jones, So we'll see.
Yeah, UFC Fortaleza, great card. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and hopefully
Very solid.
Yeah, and I'm going back to Brazil a few times this year, so it'll be awesome. Now we're gonna give our official 234 UFC Melbourne predictions. Yeah, let's get into it. The main event we've all been waiting for. Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum. This is this Sunday. We got the Robert Whittaker, the champ, the middleweight champion, taking on Kelvin Gastelum. What do you think is going to happen in this fight?
I favour Robert Whittaker, absolutely. Kelvin Gastelum's a great fighter, but I feel like the kind of skill set that Kelvin Gastelum has and the kind of skill set that Robert Whittaker has, it's a similar skill set. It's a similar skill set, but I believe that Robert Whittaker, he's quicker, he's stronger, he's more powerful, and that's going to be the key to victory. He's going to be able to stand in the pocket and throw strikes, and I don't think Kelvin Gastelum is going to be able to stand in the pocket. And I believe my official prediction, if you're going to say a method of victory as well, I would say Robert Whittaker by knockout.
By knockout?
By knockout.
See,
Robert Whittaker by knockout.
See, I'm gonna oppose you, and I'm gonna say that Kelvin Gastelum's gonna knock Robert Whittaker out in the first round. And the reason I think this is because Kelvin has immense power in that left hand. Robert Whittaker gets hit a lot. He does get hit a lot. He has wars. He has wars and wars and wars every year. And I actually just think Kelvin Gastelum's going to catch him in the first round. I think they're closely matched fighters. Kelvin Gastelum has got through a lot of guys in the middleweight division. And I feel like Kelvin Gastelum's going to put it on him, the heat, real quickly. And he's going to set a fast pace early. And he's gonna land that left hand, and I think Robert Whittaker's not gonna be able to take it, and that's what I think is gonna happen. And he's gonna become the UFC middleweight champion.
You say he's gonna knock him out in the first round, but then you have to look at Robert Whittaker's previous fights. I believe that Kelvin Gastelum doesn't have the kind of power that Yoel Romero has. I don't believe he has that kind of power, and we know that Robert Whittaker can take a shot from Yoel, so therefore, in my opinion, he should be able to take a shot from Kelvin, but you never know. If
UFC math never works.
You do that's
never
right.
Works,
that is true. Kelvin Gastelum could just hit him with that perfect money shot that puts him away. It's definitely
first
possible.
Or second round, but most likely first, I'm going to say.
Okay.
The co-main event. We got Israel Adesanya versus Anderson Silva. I'm going to start with this one. Originally, I thought Israel Adesanya is going to dispose of him. This guy's old. Anderson hasn't got it anymore. But then I started to think more and more, and I was like, Anderson Silva is Anderson Silva, one of the greatest of all time. In my opinion, it's going to be a kickboxing match. Yes, Israel Adesanya has the greater kickboxing credentials, but we're talking about a guy like Anderson Silva. If he was put in a kickboxing environment and he did kickboxing his whole life, I think he'd have a better record than Israel Adesanya. I believe he's as smart or smarter, and I think he gets the job done. And I think it's going to be a unanimous decision victory for the Spider.
I have to disagree with that strongly. I have to really disagree with that strongly. When I look at this fight, I look at it as, so you say Anderson Silva, if he did kickboxing, he might have had a better record than...
I think he would. I'm not saying he might. Okay. I reckon he would.
He would have a better record.
As good or better.
Okay, but the thing is, Anderson Silva didn't do kickboxing.
Okay.
He did MMA, and Israel did do kickboxing. And as far as I see it, this fight's going to be a kickboxing fight. So if we're just looking at kickboxing, a kickboxing fight, pretty much, I have to favour Israel Adesanya. He's younger. I believe he's quicker. He's got more power. Now, also looking at Anderson Silva is old, very old, and he's been away for 2 years now. So there's some ring rust there. I believe Israel is going to be lighting him up early with heavy shots, and I believe the true game plan for Anderson Silva is going to be to take this fight to the ground and try and submit him. I believe that is what's going to happen in this fight. I believe Israel's going to tag him up for 1 or 2 rounds, and then Anderson Silva is going to panic and going to take down.
Do you really think Anderson...
I do.
When have you seen Anderson get pieced up?
Yeah, but
it just doesn't happen,
that's the thing, though. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Doesn't get pieced up.
That's the thing. When you're talking about Israel Adesanya, I believe he will get pieced up. And because he's never versed somebody Anderson has never faced somebody. I think we've said it on previous shows. Anderson has never versed somebody of the striking credentials that Israel has, and this is going to be a new experience for Anderson. He's not going to be able to know. He's always used to going in there against wrestlers or guys with inferior striking. In this situation, you have to say that Israel has superior striking, in my opinion, and Anderson's never felt that before. I believe he's going to shoot. He's going to try and take this down, and if he does get it down, I believe he's a high chance to win. But if he doesn't, I feel like Israel's going to light him up.
Yeah, that's a close one. This fight, as you've said, could be better than the main event. Yeah. It's amazing. It's just a clash. You know, it's the similar styles, and we know Israel Adesanya has talked about Anderson Silva his whole life. He said he's the greatest. He was the greatest when he was becoming a fighter. He said that.
Another possibility for that I just thought of just now of this fight is sometimes when you get these two fighters who are specialists. So Anderson being a striking specialist, and so is Israel. Sometimes you see a really boring fight that not much happens. They respect each other too much, and that they don't risk it. I think that is a possibility in this fight, that none of them wants to commit because they're too worried, and I believe that could happen. And in that case, I would have to say probably Israel may win a decision. But I am sticking firmly on my previous prediction.
Cool. And we're going to give also our prediction on Jimmy Crute versus Sam Alvey. Jimmy Crute, I think, is the Australian pride, the pride of Australia. He's a young kid from Victoria, where we come from, the state of Victoria. And he's versing Sam Alvey. They actually, the other guy pulled out, Ryan Span, he pulled out, and he got smiling Sam Alvey. And how do you see that one? I'm going to pick Jimmy Crute with that one.
Yeah, I'm going with Jim Crute for sure.
The brute Crute.
That's right. I think he's just going to run through this guy. He's got that aggressive nature, that good attitude. He's skilled everywhere, big power. I think he's going to come away with the win now.
Yeah. So I think Jimmy Crute is one of the best Australian talents that we have, and if he gets through Sam Alvey, that'll put him one step closer. Obviously, he's in the light heavyweight division. And he can talk well, he can fight well, he's got a good ground game, he's got good striking, he's got all the means to be another prospect in that division. He could verse Johnny Walker maybe. That could be. They're two guys at a similar level. Yep. I believe Jimmy Crute has one fight in the UFC. He had one fight in the Contender Series. Johnny Walker has his third fight in the UFC. So these two could be coming up against each other next, which would be very exciting.
Absolutely. If Jim Crute can get through this fight, as I've said before, that light heavyweight division is full of tomato cans until you get up to the top 4 or 5. Then it starts to really get real. If he can get a win here and then breeze through the rest of them, he could be in title talks in a year or two. It's possible. It's definitely possible.
In the lightweight division, if you make a couple moves, talk a bit,
absolutely,
you just get through those guys, and you'll be fine in the top in no time.
Well, that's the thing. You look at Anthony Smith. He's obviously a veteran who has multiple fights. Huge,
40 fights.
He has 40 fights.
Something like that.
And he's just been middle of the pack and until he had one great performance and then called out the main man, John Jones, and got a title shot. And that could be the same thing for Jimmy Crute.
Yeah. So that's UFC Melbourne predictions. I'm so excited for Melbourne, where we've got some difference in opinion here. We'll see who's correct.
Yep.
But now we're gonna get on to some of the other news that we've seen in the MMA world. We noticed that the Nevada State Athletic Commission they did their meeting. Finally got to the chase between Khabib and Conor, the melee, and they dealt out $500,000 fine to Khabib and 9 months and 6 months if he would do a PSA anti-bullying, which he declined.
I believe he accepted that.
Did he?
It might have been recent news.
Okay. Yep. So he may or may not. We don't know if he's declined. I thought he wasn't doing it because
it's possible. I might have saw something different.
Yep. So also Conor got $50,000, which is far different to the $500,000 that Khabib was fined, and he got 3 months. Was it 3 or 6?
6 months.
6 months. That's right, 6 months. So, what do you think about $500,000? Is that, what did you think? That was 25% of his total purse.
25%. Yeah,
That's about.
Yeah, I believe that's. Look, I'd rather you fine him than give him less. I'd rather a bigger fine and less time, in my opinion, because I think generally I actually do think the punishments are fair for both Conor and Khabib. Some people say, oh, Conor should have got the same as Khabib, or Khabib should have got less. I believe it's fair. Conor really didn't do anything. Really, 6 months for Conor, I believe that's actually, now that I think of it, I think that's too much, because he didn't really do anything.
Yeah, he touched the guy. He kind of like flicked at the guy on top of the cage.
Yeah, that's right. Khabib's teammate was, or his coach or whoever it was on top of the cage, and he sort of just nudged him, hit him to get down, and then he got jumped, and then Khabib was flying out of the ring attacking
Dylan
Dennis and causing a huge problem. You know, you're fighting in the crowd. It's crazy. Conor didn't do anything. He's the one who got attacked in the ring after he's just got beat up by Khabib. I believe 6 months for Conor is crazy.
And then maybe pieced up his team. He got him, hit him with that left.
He's getting attacked from behind. People are coming from the front. He's tired. He's just lost. And
there's guys trying to throw punches at him.
That's right.
At the end of the fight.
It's absolutely crazy. 6 months for Conor, mate. 50 grand for Conor. That's okay. 50 grand. It's nothing.
3 months.
That's not even that bad. 50 grand, whatever.
Can you do less than 3?
Sorry,
I think it goes about 3s, maybe 3, 6, 9, 12.
Probably, yeah. But you know, that athletic commission does whatever they want, because they give John Jones 15 months. You know, they give him 15 months for his steroid thing. They don't care. They just do whatever they want to do. They got to just make themselves look good. The whole thing's a joke anyway.
Yeah, John Jones he was also in that. I think they were dealing with him as well, and he got a 1-fight license to fight against Anthony Smith. So I guess he's gonna be able to fight, and I don't know what's gonna happen next one if he has to get another 1 fight. Like, what's gonna happen in the future?
I think they're just trying to, because I don't know if I don't know if the full. I think this hearing was just to see if he could get a license, but not to address what's been. They want all the information on this picograms scenario. They want all the information, and that takes more time than it's required. They've already said that he's what's in his body isn't performance enhancing in any way, shape, or form, and they just want the time to be able to put the correct case together and find out what the truth is. And Anthony Smith doesn't mind either. They want to get it on, even though Jones did test hot again for the picograms, which is a lot of people don't understand it, but what it is what they say it is not a new ingestion, but a pulsing effect from his failed test 15 or 16 months ago. It's a pulsing effect, and every time it'll show up in one test and it won't show up in the next test, and it might show up lower in one test and then higher in the next test. But
very peculiar.
Yeah, it is. But according to the experts and a lot of trusted people in the MMA media, they believe, and the facts check out for that story, a new ingestion and also long-term metabolites, no short-term and medium-term. I know this is stuff that Jones says, and when he says it, it sounds like he's lying, but these are the facts of the story. So yeah. He's got to fight. He's going to run through Anthony Smith, and he'll fight DC.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about Khabib versus... we heard about that Khabib is going to be... There was a lot of rumors, but we don't know if these are true. Khabib's going to be fighting GSP.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Ali Abdelaziz, his manager, was saying Tony Ferguson does not deserve the next shot. So,
yeah, look, you can't really take what that guy says seriously. Ali Abdelaziz can't take what he says seriously. But I have heard. I was listening to the Faraz Sahabi podcast, and he was speaking. He did like a 1 hour Q&A, and he was speaking about that he believes GSP can get down to 155, but he would prefer it at 165, and they are seriously looking at Khabib. They are seriously trying to get that, and that'd be a great fight. But to say that Tony Ferguson doesn't deserve a fight, that's that's crazy. The guy's been waiting so long for a fight. He's the true interim champion. He needs to fight Khabib. That should be Khabib's next fight. Tony Ferguson, get that sorted, and then go and do your money fights. Go and do your whatever you want to do.
There's a lot of people from Khabib's camp saying contradictory statements. They're saying basically Ali will say something and then Khabib will deny it. And they'll go back and forth and somebody will say something different. So we never know what's happening with Khabib. We don't know if he wants to fight the top contender or he wants to go for money fights, because Ali will say he's not fighting the number one contender. And then Khabib says, Ali doesn't speak for me. So we don't know what's happening with Khabib. Why doesn't he just do what he said he would do and fight all the top guys?
Well, that's the thing. He's got all that money from Conor now. And
money changes people.
That's right. He previously criticized Conor for the same type of stuff that he wants to do now, which is go and fight Floyd Mayweather. We spoke about this last week. Go and fight Floyd Mayweather and do all these money fights when the true thing to do would be to fight the next contender, which is if you were to say out of all divisions in the UFC, that a true interim champion that should get a title shot would be Tony Ferguson out of any division. There's no one more deserving of a title shot than him. And if he doesn't get it, that's a spit in the face, and Khabib should really be ashamed of that.
Yeah, I agree. And Tony Ferguson, hopefully it's not just, it's the next one after that.
Yeah.
It's not like...
Well, it should be the next one.
Because Tony Ferguson can be considered one of the best lightweights of all time. He has one of the best streaks ever in lightweight history.
Yep.
He's got like 10 or 11 fights in a row. So please do it.
Yep.
Now we're going to get into our comments that we speak every week. We cover some comments that you guys basically post online. So let's get into them. This is actually a really peculiar question. And when I saw this comment, I had to look through it. And I had to be like, is this serious? Is this actually not true? Is this right? Just 2 months out and still not a single fight announced for UFC 236. What's going on? I looked at it. I searched it up. They haven't even announced the single location for this UFC 226 yet. They haven't announced a single fight. They haven't done anything with UFC 236. What's going on?
Who knows? They must be looking for some marquee name to headline the card, and they just can't get it together yet. And they don't want to. Maybe they have some other fights that are haven't been announced yet, but they don't want to do a scenario where they announce all these prelim fights without having a solid something at the top of the card to really sell it, and that's probably what's going on there.
Yeah, I'm thinking, though, that this could be a situation like UFC 233, which never happened, and they had to cancel the whole card because they couldn't find a main event for that. So if something similar happens here, they can't book a fight. This could be a second cancelled event in the space of 2-3 months? A pay-per-view, 2 pay-per-view cards that just go missing.
Yeah.
This is unheard of, to have not a single location, no fights booked for a card that is 2 months away. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it. I'm sure they have as I said, I'm sure they have some fights that they haven't announced, but they're just lower tier fights. They're maybe prelim fights and maybe a couple on the main card, but nothing crazy. They want to get that big name and then they'll announce it. I believe that's what's going on.
Yeah. So hopefully that actually materializes and we get a fight for that, because we don't want to miss a whole nother month of a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Now, the next one I was discussing with you privately, and this was a 155 tournament, like what Bellator do,
yep.
Grand Prix.
Yep.
So this comment says, a 155 tournament with blank everyone. Khabib, Conor, Tony, GSP, Holloway, Aldo, Diaz, Gaethje, Poirier, Ally, Lee, or Cowboy. Imagine how cool that would be if I love the Grand Prix style. I love it. I think if we bunch everybody in, we've got serious competitors in the lightweight division. Put them in a Grand Prix, and who knows who comes out on top. It could be somebody like Gaethje just comes out on top, maybe. Anyone could come out on top. I love it.
It's such a great idea, and it's had major success in Bellator. Huge success.
We just saw the Bellator heavyweight Grand Prix, and
it's super exciting. And if you're going to do it in one division, the UFC lightweight division is the division to do it in. There's a lot of controversy going on in that division. There's not a clear who's the best. We know obviously Khabib is, but the rest of the guys can't get fights. This would be the perfect way to get them all in there. They have to fight, and there'll be a new champion or the same champion. And then this will be a reason for Khabib to come back and fight in the lightweight division instead of mucking around doing all this other stuff. If they announce a lightweight tournament, he'd have to
give prize money to the winner as well.
That's right. He'd have to fight in that for sure.
Yeah. $1 or $2 million
I believe the Bellator system is the champ doesn't fight, and then it's a tournament to decide who gets to fight Khabib, I believe.
No. So Bellator does it. So the champ fights every round.
Oh, does he?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah, he fights every round.
And okay. So even if he loses,
the title.
Straight away.
Every round in the tournament is a title fight.
Oh wow.
That the holder has. Yeah.
Okay. Crazy.
So that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
The next comment. This is an interesting one as well. I think Cejudo blanked over the 125 division, so basically stuffed over the 125 division further by calling for a rematch at 135. His stock was high. He took 0 damage. He could have fought Benavidez next and brought some much needed attention to the 125 division. And this got me thinking. I was like, Henry Cejudo did a great job. He beat the bantamweight champion at 125, and he was campaigning, let's keep the 125 division. I'm going to save you for the 125 division. Thought about it more, and I was like, well, why does he want to go up then and fight TJ Dillashaw again? Why would you do that and give a reason to take more attention away from the 125 division by not fighting in your own division?
I believe it's a double-edged sword. In one aspect, it devalues the flyweight division, but not really. It sort of does because the champ is moving on. But then you look at the other side, and it's if Henry goes up and beats TJ, that's huge stock for the flyweights. Huge stock, because you've got the flyweights proving that they're good across many divisions, and I believe that's the way to go for Henry. I believe that's a great decision. I reckon that's going to put huge stock in the flyweights. And also look at this. Henry has been campaigning for the flyweights. He beat TJ. He can't be a slave to the flyweight division forever. Now he's got his own career, his own desires, his own mission. And if his mission is to go up to bantamweight, beat TJ, and be a double champ, you have to let him have the right to do that.
I agree with you. I definitely do. It's just, think about it. Henry Cejudo, I believe, beats TJ at bantamweight. I believe he does. So he has 2 titles in this case now. How is he going to... He's basically taking so much attention away from the flyweight division. He's got 2 belts. Now he has to defend the bantamweight. Now he has to defend the flyweight. He's giving less fights to the flyweights. So he goes and fights bantamweight. The flyweights are left again. They're gone. They're left. There's no fights there without Henry Cejudo. He's the Olympic champion. He's the double champ. What does he do? What does the flyweight division do? I don't know.
If the flyweight division's dead, it's dead. If it's dead, in terms of no one wants to watch it, that's not going to change whether Henry Cejudo is there or not. Even if he beats...
If they market him well...
If he beats TJ and comes back down to... If he beats TJ and comes back down to flyweight and then beats everybody else, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same scenario again with Demetrius. It's going to be the same thing. Boring stuff.
For sure. But
the reason why the flyweights, in my opinion, the reason why the flyweights from the start where no one watched it and it was boring, was because TJ was smoking everybody and he didn't want to accept a fight from TJ originally. Never wanted that fight. Never wanted to bring excitement to it, because double champ fights bring excitement to both divisions, and we've seen that every time it's happened. Featherweight, there was decent excitement in featherweight, and then lightweight was decent excitement. Then Conor came for the double champ, and then it was all the attention's there, and I believe it brings attention to both divisions. So yeah,
it's gonna be funny to see how it plays out. It'll be interesting. Now we also got another one. Anyone else think Marlon Moraes could blow up in popularity if he marketed himself as One Punch Man? Looks the part, obviously, and coming off 3 brutal first round finishes. Then imagine if he wins the belt, a UFC champ that looks like Saitama. He gets so many new fans. Tell everybody who Saitama is and One Punch Man.
So One Punch Man is a Japanese anime, about a superhero. His name's Saitama, and he's a boring sort of guy, but he's actually the strongest in the universe. And he punches you once, and that's the end of it. So he defeats monsters and stuff with one punch, and it's ironic because he's sort of like an anti-hero. But
we'll put the picture
funny.
of the comparison. I believe if One Punch Man was a human version, he would look like Marlon Moraes. He really does look like him, and he would get. I think he'd get a lot of people if he dressed up in him.
It's possible.
I reckon it'd be cool.
It's possible. He's got the bald hair, he's got the muscles,
and he finished a lot of people. Obviously, he submitted Asuncion, but he finished a lot of people.
If he marketed, if he came out with obviously that's probably some violation of the Reebok dress code.
Cosplay, it's fine.
But yeah, if he came out calling himself Saitama or One Punch Man, it'd be pretty funny, and a lot of people, a lot of anime,
Israel Adesanya would love it.
A lot of weeaboos probably would probably start watching the UFC. So yeah,
he's a cool guy. Now the next one. Okay. As much as I loved watching GSP fight in his prime, he's old and in a position to choose only safe fights. I would love to see GSP versus Woodley, but it may never happen. So, what do you think?
I don't think that fight will happen. I think, as that person said, I agree with it. He won't fight Woodley because that's not a safe fight, and he wants safe fights that he knows pretty much. I think he'd probably think 70% sure he'd win. He'd take it, but anything less than that, he probably wouldn't take it because I believe Woodley is a better version of him at this current point. He's stronger, he's faster, he can wrestle better, he can probably punch better at this point in their careers, and he wouldn't take that fight because that'd be a high chance he'd lose that, and he probably knows that as well. And he only wants to take fights that he knows he can win, like Michael Bisping.
Yeah,
that's the kind of fights he wants. Champions who maybe aren't the best in the division,
because Tyron's so all-rounded. You have to remember that he's got the punching power, he's got the explosiveness, he's got the wrestling. Khabib doesn't have the best striking, but he has great wrestling, and maybe that all-rounded style is the way to beat that he thinks is
GSP probably sees a way to win there. When he looks at Tyron, he probably doesn't see any way to win. It'd probably just have to be some sort of dogfest. Grinder, yeah, that's right.
Strategic.
I don't think he's at the age where he can do that anymore.
Yeah, he'll be he might never fight again. He could be Khabib. We'll see.
Well, according to Firas Zahabi, he does want to fight, and they're trying to get him something. So
awesome. Well, that's all the comments that we've got. Make sure you leave your comments down below because we also want to discuss your comments. But yeah, UFC Melbourne this weekend, amazing. Cannot wait. What do you have to say?
And also shout out to the American Gangster in Australia, Melbourne, Australia. I think arrived this morning or last night and already been pulled over by the police. So that's a true American gangster, and they're straight onto him. We'll show a photo of that right here.
Yeah, we'll put the post up. That was really awesome.
And so shout out to him.
Yep. That's all we've got time for. That's the Combat Society show. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, check the notification icon. Go follow Combat Society AUS on Facebook and Instagram. Combat Society AU on Twitter. And that's all we've got time for. We'll be back after UFC Melbourne. Catch ya.